What if I told you most people are not using Cursor AI to its full potential? They download it, type a few questions into the chat, and then wonder why it doesn't feel much different from ChatGPT. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Cursor AI isn't just a smarter code editor. Hidden inside are coding agents with various agentic modes, features designed not just to autocomplete the code, but to actually take action on your code base. Most beginners barely use all of the available options, which is why they miss out on the real power. In this video, I'll walk you through the three modes in Cursor: Ask, Agent, and Background Agent modes, and explain not just how they work, but also when to use each one and when not to use them. By the end, you will know how to go beyond simply chatting with Cursor and start using it as a true coding teammate that can help you understand, build, and maintain your projects. I've been building and working with tech for over a decade, and I've made just about every beginner mistake you can think of. My goal here is to share the shortcuts I wish someone had handed me when I was starting out. So whether you're preparing for your first job or looking to grow in your tech career, subscribe so you can get the real world advice that you can apply right away. Now, before we dive into the Ask mode of Cursor, let's set up Cursor with a tiny Python project so it has some real code to read. For this video, we'll be using a wedding registry app. Think of it like a shared gift list for a couple's wedding. Users of your app can add items they like, put them into categories like kitchen or travel. They can also browse or search the list to see what's already taken. So let's get it set up. Download Cursor from cursor.com and install it. Create a new empty folder named Wedding Registry, and we're gonna open that folder in Cursor once you have installed it. Now we're gonna add 3 small files so Cursor has some context. For the purpose of this demo, I've already created 3 files, and these are models.py, storage.py, and registry.py. Don't worry about it if you don't understand this code yet, and that's what we're going to use the cursor for. Now switch your attention to the right of the screen. In the right Composer panel, which you can get by clicking on this icon or Control L on Windows, you're going to see 3 choices in this pull-down menu: Agent, Ask, and Background. And we're going to go through all of them one by one. We will start with the Ask mode first. Here is the situation. You just joined a new company and you're given this code for wedding registry app. Your product manager tells you that something is wrong with the code. When a customer tries to add coffee maker, the app crashes with an error message shown on the screen. The logic lives in apply action function. Obviously, you did not write this code. Your challenge is to understand the flow quickly without going through every function. By the way, if this is helping you out, please like and subscribe. It tells me to make more videos like this. And if you've got a question or a different take, drop it in the comments. I'm always curious to see what you think. Understanding the code is where the Ask mode shines. It's a read-only mode, meaning it won't change your code, but it can explain, analyze, and answer questions in context. For example, we're going to highlight this function, apply action, and ask Cursor, and Cursor is thinking. It's going through all the files, and it has already figured out what the function does. In fact, Cursor has determined that the apply action function acts as a reducer, which is a common coding pattern. So this was the first way. The second way to use Ask mode in Cursor is to ask for help with an error code. We're going to start a brand new chat. Make sure that the Ask mode is selected, and we'll ask for help with this particular error code. Given this error code, what is the most likely cause in this function? Now the cursor has already determined the most likely cause on line 19. The third way to use Ask mode in Cursor is for planning. We're going to start with a brand new chat. We'll ask Cursor to put together a list of tests to make sure that the code performs in the way we expect it to. Now, as you can see, Cursor has already created test cases for empty names, duplicate gifts, and gift not in the list, as well as additional edge cases. The benefit of planning in Ask mode is that it gives you the opportunity to think ahead. Instead of only reacting to bugs that you can see, you can plan for and address the bugs up front by using the tests. That's the point of Ask mode. It helps you understand and plan without the risk of rewriting code underneath. So once you're ready for actual edits across the files, that's when we step into the agent mode. Now let's say the users of the app are happy with the wedding registry, but they're asking for more features. They don't just want one big flat list of gifts, they want categories, for example, kitchen, bedroom, travel, and others. And users want to be able to search so they can quickly see whether the toaster or coffee maker has already been claimed. To actually build these features, you would need to update the data model, change the storage logic and new filtering functions, and make sure tests cover all of it. That's multiple files to touch. And that's where the agent mode comes in. Unlike Ask mode, which only explains code, agent mode actually acts on your project. But it doesn't just throw code in blindly. It follows a clear, structured cycle that keeps you in control. First, it creates a plan. You tell it, add categories and search to the wedding registry. And before making any changes, it lays out a step-by-step outline of what it intends to do. Next, it uses tools. Cursor agents can read and write files, search across the project, and even reference docs if needed. You will see it call those tools as it works. Then comes apply. Cursor shows you differences of the changes side by side, old versus new code. Nothing happens until you review and approve those differences. After that, it moves into the review stage. It runs your tests. If something fails, the agent loops back and fixes its own mistakes, then reruns the checks. And finally, there is the terminal step. If new dependencies are required, for example, installing new libraries, the agent doesn't just run them silently. It drafts the exact commands like pip install pytest, and you decide whether to execute them or not. Now let's apply this cycle to our wedding registry. And hey, if this all feels a bit overwhelming, I get it. I've been right where you are. That's why I put together a free guide to help you figure out the best role for you without wasting weeks on stuff you don't need. Grab it from the link in the description. It's totally free, and honestly, it will save you a ton of time. Back to our agent mode. Hover over to the right of the screen and select the agent mode if you have not already done so. We will type in a prompt to update the gift model so that the category is validated. Now, if you look carefully, there are multiple statements in this prompt. The first one focuses on updating the gift model. The second one is on registry logic, and the third one is on creating the tests. This one is going to be different from the prior tests that we created in Ask mode. In this case, not only are we going to create the tests, but we're also going to commit them to the code base. Now, as you can see, Cursor is making those changes one by one. It has already updated all of the files, and right now it's in the process of creating test harnesses. It hasn't committed the code, and it's giving you the choice to accept or reject all of the changes. Now, we're not going to let it run the test yet, but let's go back to the left panel and click on the test it has created. As you can see, there's a class with different test scenarios. Obviously, in real life, we're gonna accept these changes and then run these tests as well. Now, even after the feature is coded and shipped, the developer's work does not stop. Libraries release new versions, someone forgets to run lint, or a pull request slips through without any test. None of this is glamorous work. The challenge is that these tasks are necessary, but they break your flow. The consequence, you as a developer are slowed down by a repetitive maintenance task. So instead of shipping new features, you spend hours just keeping the project afloat. And that's exactly where the background agent helps. Unlike Ask or agent mode, the background agent doesn't run inside your editor. For example, it runs in the cloud against your GitHub repo. You give it a small PR-sized task, and it does the busy work for you. It checks out a branch, runs installs and tests, applies the changes, and opens a pull request you can review. And it keeps going even if you close your editor. For example, it can safely update dependencies to newer minor or patch versions and run tests to confirm that nothing broke. It can even add or update CI, continuous integration workflows, so your tests run automatically on each pull request. It can take care of repo-wide hygiene. like reformatting the code base or cleaning up your imported files. It can even handle small chores such as tweaking README files and documentations. We're going to go back to the right of the screen and select the background mode, and we're going to type in an example prompt. This prompt instructs Cursor to create GitHub Actions workflow that runs by test on every pull request. Now, as soon as I run it, we get an error message. Obviously, the background agent requires a connection to the Git repository, which we have not done. But once you connect and give right permissions, your background agent will be able to perform these actions in the background. By the way, if you want me to create a deep dive video on background mode, just add a comment below. Keep in mind that the background agent is not meant for giant refactors, as it struggles with vague or open-ended goals. It works best when the task is clear, small, and reviewable, one PR at a time. Now that you have seen Cursor's 3 modes in action for 3 different jobs, Ask mode helps you understand code, agent mode helps you build features, and background agent takes care of the repetitive maintenance in the cloud. But there is still an unanswered question. Cursor is just one of the many AI coding agents out there. You've probably heard of others like Lovable, Claude Code, and Replit's agent. How do you decide which one is actually the best for you? And that's what we will tackle in the next video. I'll compare these agents side by side, show where each one ranks, and help you figure out which is the right fit for your workflow. And you don't want to miss that breakdown. Hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.